Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. First of all, I need to start with an apology because my maths is dreadful. So the other day, when I said that this is Spurs' worst loss rate in our 143-year history, I didn't know that we were going to be so pedantic that I was going to have a video made about me that I got the date wrong. I got this date wrong by 5 months exactly. We are 142 years old and 7 months. Nick,
Hang on,
me.
Savva, hang on. What time on the 5th of September? Because if you say it's 7 months, it'll be 6 months, 11 hours, so many seconds, whatever it is. Because, yeah, I have to apologize as well because I said it. I sent around the thing as well, and I said it was 143 years. So those 5 months, I mean, yeah, they're going to make a massive difference, right?
Yeah, and listen, I want to apologise to Postecoglou because if it's 143 years, he's terrible. But 142 years and 7 months, it's a very good record. So sorry, Ange, you've done a really good bloody job. And apologies. Actually, Nick, we just had a look. It's 5 months today, isn't it? In 5 months today, Spurs will be 143 years old.
Sorry, I had my phone out. I just wanted to see if Ange would come on and tell me up because I got my phone up in the air. I don't know whether that was an excuse. I don't know.
This guy's an absolute.
So mate. yeah, 5 months today. Maybe it'll be 5 months. It may be 5 months. You know, like when you were like young as kids and you were like, oh, I was born at 6:30. Oh, you can't have your presents until 6:30 in the evening because you're not officially. Do you know what I mean? It's like it was a little joke that your parents made with you, and it's like, come on, this.
I think it's hilarious. Do you know what? What I love about the video, we all know who made the video about me. The guy that loves the guy that loves my name. Honestly, if he says my name any more time, I'm going to do him for copyright. Do you know what? He said my name more times than my wife has, and I live with her. Feel free to get your own content, mate. Feel free to,
No, I think it is. Do you know what I think it is? I think it's like a candy man, right? He says if he says your name enough times, you're going to appear.
Mate, do you know what though? I don't understand. Turn your camera on. Talk about Spurs in your own way. But no. Talks about the toxic fans that don't want shit managers. How toxic of us. Oh, toxic Spurs fans. Be happy. And he also said that he thought we played well against Chelsea. I mean, when I see things like that, you really do realise the level of intelligence you're dealing with, don't you? Look, so listen, at the end of the day, I've just got a little bit bored of seeing my name being used. You know, Nick, from my point of view, I'm never going to go on and do attack videos on someone. I think it's just pathetic. I don't think it's needed. Whoever that is, I'll call out anyone in our fan base that does that to others. But for me, just stick to your own content. Like, just mention other people, but why do you have to talk about them, call them CUNTs and pricks every single video?
Well, unfortunately, because I mean, people will say that I don't have much footballing knowledge because of my takes on Emerson Royale. But 4 minutes, got it in within 4 minutes.
4 minutes, well done.
But this person just talks about if we're on the if you said this on the shelf, come on, mate. What, someone's going to kick your head in? I mean, what is this nonsense? No, there's no nonsense. I mean, the most nonsense thing that I saw from the Chelsea game, apart from obviously the result, was the fans fighting kids for the players' shirts. There was adult Spurs fans fighting a young kid because they wanted Bergval's Spurs shirt. I mean, that's more embarrassing. That's more embarrassing than Phil Coys. I know he's in here. That's more embarrassing than Lubo's take on Archie Gray. I mean,
he'll be on at 1:30 telling us all about Archie Gray.
He'll get all defended. If there's one thing we know how to get Lubo going, is just say one thing bad about Archie Gray, and then he just goes.
Do you know, I just don't. What I don't get about it is I'm not significant enough that I need to be talked about every day on a video. Like, I am comfortable enough, in my opinion, Nick. You've known me for years now. I am comfortable enough in my football opinion that I will debate it with anybody. I don't care whether it's Gary Neville. If Gary Neville called me up and said, well, I want to debate Sure, let's have a debate. I don't care. What I don't understand is how somebody is so pent up on the other side of the opinions fan base. Like, listen, I think those that want Ange in, I think they're funny. I think they're so funny because they're so wrong at this stage. But I don't like being misquoted. I'm going to give you a few examples. One, he's been telling everyone that I wanted Man City to beat Spurs so Arsenal didn't win the league. Nick, that never came out my mouth. That never, ever came out my mouth. My stance at that time, for anyone that listened, was this is an irrelevant question because Man City are going to beat us anyway. Man City to beat Spurs to win the Premier League title. I'm pretty sure that Man City were going to beat us, and they did. I also keep hearing that I've said I don't want to win the Europa. No. Of course I want to win the Europa. What I've actually said, good morning, Kate. What I've actually said is I don't care if we win the Europa as far as Ange's job is concerned. Win the Europa, I just don't want him. Just getting a little bit bored. Like, I'm here. Everyone's got my number. Everyone's got access to my show. If you want to have a football chat, have a chat with me. Don't be halfway around the world and just calling me a CUNT. Like my wife showed me the video and went, why is this guy calling you a CUNT every single... I'm like, I don't get it. And you know what's funny is when he actually quit, not many people know this, when he actually quit YouTube, I messaged him that day and I said, it's a shame you've quit YouTube. I said, I know we don't get on. I know we don't agree, but I do think there's room for all opinions in the football world. And he actually sent me a nice message back saying, hate your opinions, but you're all right, Savva. And then he comes back a month later and it's just CUNT, 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 you're a prick, you're this, you're toxic, you're fake, you don't support the... I'm like, whoa, like, what are we doing? So look, that's all I'm going to say on that. And it's been building up in me. I didn't want to do an attack video. I'm not going to do an attack video because I think everyone's got a right. Everyone's got a right to their opinion, but bring some facts to the table to present your opinion. Have the debate. You know, it's all well and good going, oh, they all want to debate. Isn't that why we set up YouTube channels, Nick? To talk about football and debate and have a laugh, right? Rather than calling everyone CUNTs.
Yeah. Oh, here he is. Here's Matt. He's Matt.
He's in. Matt, Levy's not the biggest problem this season. No, he's not. Yes, he is in general, but no, he's not. Listen. Anyway, moving on from that. Listen, it just got annoying because I wake up and every time I wake up, I've got so many people, whether they're YouTubers or people I've met through YouTube or my mates going, he's talking about you again. He's talking about you again. And I'm just like, oh, dude, give it a rest. It's okay. Open your camera. Tell the world you love Tottenham Hotspur. You don't need to talk about us lot that also love Tottenham but actually have standards. Like, you don't need to. Anyway.
Yeah, the ironic thing, and we'll leave it, I'll leave it on this. The ironic thing is what he's doing in the positive spin is just as bad as what he's accusing people of doing on the negative spin, right? Because it's the same thing. One's positive, one's negative, right?
Huh?
I don't really see a difference. But the people that are perceived as negative or are negative or whatever people think, at least they back it up with facts.
But
you know?
do you know what though? But do you know what, Nick? Listen, this is my problem, right? I don't have a problem with this man. I don't. I've never had a problem with him. He's got very different views to me. I'm cool with that. Have a different view. But most people who have different views to each other in the world of football YouTube have a conversation about it. Yeah, sometimes it turns into rows. Sometimes it turns into berating each other. But you know what? They have the conversation. What I don't like is one person sets themselves away, tells everybody else that all of these people are toxic when we've been right. I've been very right about this manager and this club. And by the way, the last thing I'll say is you've got to remember that this guy was also doing the exact same thing he's promoting that he hates. He was doing that to Conte and to Eric Dyer. You know, just get behind the team. Well, you didn't get behind Conte. Get behind the players. You made videos mocking Eric Dyer. You know, so for me, I just think it's about just call a spade if you're gonna be nasty about people, just have a think about what you've done yourself. So for me, as I said, I'll happily welcome him on and anybody else onto my show that wants to talk football, because I set up a football channel to talk about football. Good morning, Danny Taylor says he's off out in a second with his boy. Can you give Alfie a quick shout out, please? Big up, Alfie. Alfie, it's not too late. See if your dad can get you supporting someone else. It will save you years and years. I'm joking. Good morning, Alfie and Daddy Danny as well. Big up to each and every one of you. Lumen, I don't believe I'm an influencer in any way, shape, or form. I'm an idiot that turns my camera on and talks to other idiots like Nick.
And I think the biggest news that we should all say is we had it from Sim. Sim has officially said that this manager needs to be gone. It's taken him the longest. And 142 days and 5 months. And how many hours?
7 months.
7 months. Yeah, 7 months.
7 months, Kate. It's 7.
It's 142 years, not 142 days. So get it right, Kate. Nick. Don't come in here with your incorrect facts.
Do you know the funny thing about it, Nick? This is like, when people are asked their age, it's like me going, I'm nearly 43. No, but exactly what are you? Oh, I'm 42 and X amount of months and X amount of days. Like, let's be fair, Tottenham this year are 143 years old. Do you know what? It doesn't matter if we were 30 years old. The stats are the stats. He has been simply shambolic. It doesn't really matter. But I do like being called Statman Savva. I think it's got I don't know. It's got
that song, the Stat Man. We can get a song about you. I'm the Stat Man. Here he is. Here's Lubo.
Morning, guys. Morning.
More important than Lubo being here is Matt being here with a different excuse now. Matt, for months, told me when all these players are back fit, we're winning all the games. And now does match fitness not count? Matt, I hate to break it to you, right? Romero's been back for bloody ages now. Solanke's been back for about, 8, 9, 10 games, whatever he's been back. Who else is just coming back into fitness? Mickey, I'll give you Mickey van der Ven. Who else? Who else is coming back into match
Timo
fitness?
Werner. Richarlison and Timo Werner aren't back yet.
I love Matt. Yeah, come on, Kate. Own this, please. Sorry, come on. Got to get the difference between 5 and 7 is huge. Lubo, good morning. Good. It is still good morning. How are you?
I'm very well. All good here.
Good.
All good here. Big protest tomorrow.
Well, today we're going to talk about Southampton as in the game. We're going to talk about the protest. We're also going to talk about enough. Has that got the right date on it, or have you got one like Corey?
It's got the right date.
Because people are upset with the wrong date, so you've got to get the right date on the sky.
There you go.
Yeah, he's got the right date.
But it doesn't say September the 5th.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, man.
Oh, mate. What are we going to do?
142 years, 5 months, and 7 hours. The protest.
Henry Hotspur.
Mate. Yeah, listen, we've got some Southampton talk. We've got protest talk. Also, our beloved leaders come out with a few more absolute golden nuggets of quotes for us to talk about. And let's start with that. I'm going to start with, look at this, people praising Lubo. Lubo.
I don't think Rinketit's happy I'm on.
Why? What have you done to Rinketit?
I don't know. I'm Lubo out. I've only been in 1 minute.
At least no one's called you a CUNT yet, so you're all right.
No,
don't worry about it, mate.
I suppose that's good.
Our beloved leader. Do you know what? I 100% agree with everything he's saying here.
So do I.
Just not him.
Yeah.
I agree with him, but not him.
If that's not having a pop at your boss, I don't know what isn't.
Yeah.
Eh?
But this is what makes me laugh, right? Like he's now started. Have you noticed? Somebody said it in our group this morning. I think it may have been my boy Perchy. Perchy forever, right?
Oh,
Might have
of
been
course it
one
was.
Perchy,
Of course
right?
it was.
Listen.
Perchy agreeing with Savva.
What-
What a shock that is.
What a
It
shot!
might not have been. Someone said he's gone down the Conte route, hasn't he? What's happened here is he's done dreadfully, and because he can't change it, guys, it's now VAR's fault. Now, yes, guys, you all know I hate VAR, right? I hate VAR. I hate that it takes them 5-6 minutes to get decisions, but they did get the decision right. So it's VAR's fault. It was a fixture congestion fault. Now it's no manager gets more than 2 years. Oh, yes, Daniel Levy. Sorry, yes, Ange. No manager gets 2 years if they're doing a shit job. Like, this guy's going, he's lost the plot now, isn't he? On and off the pitch.
No, he hasn't. He's very clever. He's very clever because he's manipulating fans with his verbals. That's what he's doing. He's very clever. He knows what he's doing. Believe me. Have you ever known a manager with this much? You know, he's got more rabbit than Sainsbury's. Seriously. He's very clever. He knows what he's doing. He's deflecting all the time. He's a past master. Seriously.
Yeah.
This is no. He's not lost the plot at all. This is his defense mechanism.
Look, I agree. I mean, Nick, it is at this stage, isn't it? Because rather than, even after the game against Chelsea, he doesn't actually come out and talk about getting it wrong. He doesn't come out and talk about being wide open. He comes out and talks about VAR because what he knows is those that are in will deflect it to, yeah, but VAR screwed us over. When realistically, VAR didn't screw us over. VAR didn't screw us over at all. We didn't win that game. We lost the game because Chelsea, let's be honest, whilst they weren't amazing, they were superior to us. They looked a team, didn't they?
Yeah. And they were sat there, Chelsea kind of, they knew if they kind of went open, it was going to be kind of, that would kind of maybe play into our hands a little bit. But the way that he came out after the game with his post-match press conference saying that, he looked genuinely shocked, like pretending. Actually, he'd have got more respect from us if he just said, "Do you know what? Yeah, I saw the fans. Were kind of giving me a bit of questioning my decision. I thought I'd give it a bit back. I got it wrong. I hold my hands up." But instead, he tried to turn it into, "I was trying to get them to cheer." No, you won't. And then, yeah, the old Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
It hurts inside, and just giving it the old big, all of that, right? And then starts talking about VAR. Like, I get it, okay. The first decision should have actually taken longer than the second decision because we could all see from that first decision, the SAR from the first time we watched it, it was a foul and arguably a red card, which we spoke about the other day. But then to carry on with it, and then to carry on with this then nonsense about if someone puts a phone in my face, it's about people bullying people and all of this, all of this nonsense, right? He's gone from saying mate to getting people on side to just saying absolute. I mean, he talks, no offense, Phil Coys, but he talks more waffle than you, mate. And I've seen a lot of waffle from you.
I'm not sure
in the last few days.
Waffles. He waffles and
waffles. It's just, and we've seen it before. I'll never call out the players. Calls out Timo Werner. I won't do this. Then goes and does it. He's just like, either he's got amnesia or he wakes up every day and forgets what he's done the day before, right? Because he's doing the complete opposite. It's just.
He knows what he's doing. As Philly's just put up on the comments, at the beginning of the season, he said it's all on him. Now nothing's on him.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. Believe me.
Pitch. It was, what was it? The pitch against Alkmaar. Why Mickey?
I've got to tell you something. If he was half as good as a manager as he is with the verbals, we'd have a half decent team.
Really? Yeah, and I think if I'm honest, I think the issue, I've seen the issue with Maddison now. I don't actually think you can blame Maddison in patches because 2 goal contributions in 11 games is not what we expect. However, this system You know, and I've been probably one of Son's biggest criticising him, probably the biggest out of a lot of people, apart from James Flower, obviously, because if he's listening, he'll go, "I did it. I said it the most." But this system doesn't suit him, and it's clear to see game after game after game that it doesn't suit him. But he can't. You know, when you know at the start of the season, like if we talk about I know Kate and Jim here. Kate and Jim at the start of the season, like with me, we wanted it to work. We at the start of it, we wanted it to work, but it's just not working now. So at that point, we make the decision, say we got it wrong. We've seen what we've seen. You know, different people make their decision at different times. Sim, bless his heart, cotton socks. Yesterday, he's seen it now. But to then double down that, and just like these other fans that are double down in and saying, "Oh, no, everything's fine. It's not our fault." Now the media, the pundits are against us. No, they're against us because you're an absolute clown, mate, and because you're talking nonsense and you're doing stupid things. They've been calling it out for 18 months, and if we all can see it, and a lot of us haven't worked in football, a lot of us haven't seen all these things. If we can see it, but he can't, and he's supposed to be this expert, then of course he's gone. You know, he needs to accept all of this, just like the players need to accept it. You know.
But the thing is, guys, right? What makes me laugh about all this is, as a fan base, I've never seen any other manager. First of all, we've never seen a manager this bad. I mean, in my lifetime, I've never seen a manager this bad with this many defeats in a row and this kind of stuff. But I've never seen anyone be so backed. And I always come back to this. You guys know I do. I always come back to this and say, if this was happening to someone else, imagine we were looking down at Villa, Newcastle, sod it, Brighton, anyone, we would be looking at them and going, what a mess. I see people going, oh my God, look at Amorim. Look at Amorim at Man United. What do you mean look at Amorim at Man United? He's level on points with Ange, and Ange has had 400 million quid, 4 transfer windows, 2 whole summers and 2 years to coach. Like
Amorim's lost 3 out of the last 15.
I know. Matt, sorry, Lube. Lube, I know he's lost 3 out of the last 15. Our manager's lost what? How many in the league games? What have we lost? 3 of the last 4 and drawn the other one, if I'm not wrong.
Is it 4 out of the last 5? I think
we lost to Chelsea.
Yeah, we haven't. Yeah, we've lost. We've
won City.
Yeah,
and drawn,
lost.
Lost, drawn, lost. Right, and yet people are going, oh well. You can't get a new manager because it will be the same as United. Well, hang on. The guy hasn't even had a summer yet. That manager, look at David Moyes. Look at what David Moyes has done at Everton. And how many games has David Moyes had? Could anyone in the chat, if you're there, does anyone work out for us how many games Moyes has had? How many wins, how many draws, how many defeats? It's just sometimes, now don't get me wrong, I don't want to watch Everton play football, but get them organised. Get them organised, right? Everton have gone to Anfield and let in 1 goal. Right? Everton, if I'm not wrong, they've let in 1 goal, haven't they? Lost 1-0, was it? At the week? Yeah. 1-0. Spurs in 2 games against Liverpool let in 10.
I think that's the wrong analogy. You need another club because Liverpool, Everton are derbies and they come together. They're normally very
close. A semi-final.
No, they're normally very close, aren't they?
Semi-final of a cup.
It's like, listen, it's like Spurs Arsenal. Arsenal beating us by the odd goal again. I mean, I think last year was 2, but normally it's the odd goal, isn't it? There's not normally more than that with a derby, a Liverpool Everton.
When have you seen us lose a cup semi-final 4-0?
Well, listen, we didn't turn up that day, did we?
That day?
I know.
I think the next line is going to be, I can see it now. Bournemouth have only won 1 in 6. We've won 2 in 6. Oh, why would we change this manager?
I don't know. Do you know what, Nick? I can't be asked with other clubs. I think it's just about us.
I think you're right. But the comparison will be, won't it, with Iraola? It'll be, well, why would we want him? He's, that. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters who it is under this ownership, if I'm honest. But I think I can't carry on with this absolute nonsense from this manager. I don't see how anyone can. Like, even to the point, Matt, I see what you're putting. Oh, we keep sacking managers, not backing them. Do you not think he's been backed? £350 million on players, and we've seen no change. We've got worse since this manager's been here. If you'd seen something, you know, we've got that team down the road. That team down the road, they're arguing with each other, and they're second in the league, and they're in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and they're arguing about that. And we're sitting here going, oh well, let's just keep Ange because he might turn into Arteta.
But the thing is, Nick, you know, Matt makes a point. Jose shouldn't have been sacked. Nuno, whatever. But the difference is, when you're saying Conte didn't want to be here. Conte wasn't, as to my knowledge, wasn't actually sacked. To my knowledge, he didn't want to be here, and they agreed. But that's only to my knowledge, right? Because
careful, Savva. You know what happens if you say something that's not true.
but the thing is, Nick, for 6 months, Conte was giving interviews that, and I sat there on my channel for 6 months, said, forget whether you like him or not, he don't want to be here. This guy does not want to be here. You can see what he's angling for. Now, but the difference is, Matt, the two managers you've just named there, forget Nuno. Jose, in 18 months, only had 3 Premier League clubs, 3 clubs in the country that accumulated more points than him. Conte, in his time, finished 4th, then was 4th again when he was sacked. So when you're using those two, you're not using the same argument as Ange. Ange isn't 4th. Ange hasn't done a good job. I agree with you, Matt. This is the problem. This is where you get silly. No one's saying we want to keep sacking managers. But when the manager is this bad, you have to sack him. You can't. Listen, Lubo.
Two arguments, two subjects there. What Matt's getting at is pre-Ange, where he's 100% correct, where Levy has his finger on the trigger too much. But sometimes this is an exceptional situation. Morning, Dan. I've never seen a manager like this, seriously. And I've seen the relegation year in 77. 75 wasn't that great when we beat Leeds in the last game to stay up. The early 90s, we had 2 15th places, I think, in 92 and 94. We had a 14th in 2004. We started off appallingly under Ramos when Levy left him with no strikers. But this is the worst by a mile. I mean, seriously, just everything from there's no. He leaves the 2 centre backs with no defence. The full backs are nowhere. You know, you've got an intensity regime that is. I mean, look at this.
Look at
Matt, seriously, look at this.
But people like Matt Lubo, Matt can't look at this and realise why fans hate his style of play. See, Lubo,
there's no organisation here. There is absolutely nothing.
Hang on, Lubo. I'm trying to ask you a question here, right?
Go on.
I know we all hate Levy, but what we're seeing here on this screen, that's not Daniel Levy. That's not. Whatever we want to say, we can have the conversation about Levy, but this is not Daniel. Daniel Levy's fault for not sacking him, yes. But Daniel Levy doesn't set the team up to play like this. Look at this. 2 centre mids are at centre back. There are centre backs at right back. There's the right backs in the centre circle. And fans like Matt, unfortunately, don't quite have the capacity to look and go, yeah, this is shambolic. They don't have it. He wants to keep this for 5 years. I'll ask Matt this question. Matt, you're looking at the same screen as everyone else. Bearing in mind, I've got a million examples of these pictures, right? Got a million examples of these pictures, like there. Yeah? Like there. You're looking at this screen, Matt. Please tell me, what difference does it matter if he's here in 2 years or 5 years, if he does this? This is after 2 years, Matt, on the coaching pitch. This is what he's come up with as our tactics. So please tell me, Matt, what on earth would he do if he's given better players and he's here for 5 years? What on earth do we do with this shambolic mess?
Probably finish about 9th.
There you go, Dan.
Because with that
Dan, you called it. Give him the players. Give him any players he wants.
Yeah.
Give him any players he wants.
Give him
Doesn't
any
matter.
team he wants. Any defence in the world, he will lose too many games, concede too many goals because the man hasn't got a clue about defence. And what is happening on that pitch at the moment, yes, the players have to take some accountability for it. But when it all comes down to it, it's the tactics. Everyone can see it. Ange is the one who is at fault for that. You can hate Daniel Levy all you want. You can hate everything else all you want. But I'm sorry, that is not down to Daniel Levy what happens on that pitch. He don't pick the tactics. He don't tell them when to defend and when not to defend and make the subs and that. All that is down to Ange. And Ange has got to go and Levy's got to do his job and get Ange out.
If you can flick back, Sav, Matt's just replied. It's just at the top of the screen, and he has put, where are we? Yeah, there you go. And it's not the answer, but you're giving up after second. But the problem is, Matt, if you keep Ange, if he takes us down, do you then say, well, the relegation's okay because at least we've given him a chance? You know what I mean? Because that's what a lot of people are going to be saying. Which is
Lupo, we're not going to get relegated, mate. We need to stop this crazy talk.
We're not getting relegated. But to his point, let me answer this really quickly. We will give the manager will get 3 to 5 years, Matt, whether their name is Xavi, Pep, Iriola, Inzaghi, Ancelotti. They will get 3 to 5 years if they do a good job. Isn't it that basic, guys, on the panel? Am I being dumb? Isn't it that basic in life?
So, does anybody in any job get given year after year if they're doing a shit job?
No.
Seriously.
I've sacked loads of people in my life managing teams that aren't good enough. You give them a chance. Don't get me wrong. You don't go, oh, you've had 3 months, your shit, get sacked. 3 months, okay, you're not performing how I thought you would when you join the company. I'm going to give you your next 3 months. What I need to see is you need to go from this, you need to implement this, and this, and I need to see an improvement. Right, I've seen a slight improvement. Now we need to work on this, and this. If after 6-9 months I'm going, nothing's improved, let alone getting worse, you go, I'm so sorry, this hasn't worked out. I've given you what you need, right, to work out. And by the way, when I say what you need, I'm not talking about winning titles. But he has been given what he needs to be. Let's have a look. He has been given what he needs to be. Let's have a look at the league table. Right? We should be where Newcastle, Villa, and Brighton are. I don't care what anyone says. We should be where Newcastle, Villa, and Brighton are.
And isn't it interesting from Palace down to Southampton? There's only one team that haven't sacked their manager since Ange came in. Yeah, and that's Ipswich. Every single one of those clubs, Palace, United, Everton, West Ham, Wolves, Leicester, and Southampton, have all sacked their managers.
No, Palace didn't. Glasner was there last year.
No, but he was
after Palace, he said.
But Glasner came after Ange was with us, no?
Yes, sorry, you talk about since Ange.
Yeah, since Ange.
Sorry, one mistake.
No, it's fine. Yeah, but even if it's just crazy, right? That every other manager has done that. But obviously Ipswich, we kind of realised that they were coming up, get the parachute payments and be ready for the Championship rather than go, from League One to the Championship to the Prem. So they'll be right. But the rest of them have tried to make things happen. We just,
The thing is with it is it's all good to sit in here and say, don't be stupid, we're not getting relegated, yeah? Don't be silly, we're not getting relegated. Okay. I think more of the problem is, if these 3 teams below us weren't actually as poor as they were, 2 of them, probably 2 of the poorest teams I've ever seen in the Premier League, is the reason we're not getting relegated. I think that's a big thing to have a problem and an issue with. To sit there and say, oh, we're not getting relegated, don't worry about it. Cool, fine. We don't want to get relegated. But that's only not happening that we're not in a relegation battle because 2 of those teams are just.
I don't know, Dan. I think from now on, the 3 that come up will be the 3 that go down until the end of time.
I think the gap's bigger than ever, Nick. The gap is bigger than ever between the Championship and the Premier League. So the problem you've got, Dan, for me, there's. I know Lubo talks a lot about if he stays, we get relegated. Let's be fair, right? As it stands, if I bring that league table up again, as it stands, let's go down to the bottom, right to the bottom. As it stands, you need 6 wins to stay in the Premier League. as it stands, you need to win 6 games and some draws to stay in the Premier League. That's how bad that bottom 3 are. There's not a chance we're ever going to get relegated. There isn't. No. We could still play Ange, but we're not getting relegated. But that shouldn't.
I disagree, sir. This is the worst points total for the bottom 3 I think we've ever had in the Premier League.
Yeah, but the state it's at now, Ian, it's not going to happen.
Right, but let me ask you a question, guys. When you look at how many points each team at the end of this season, if you look at last season's points total per club and this season's points total per club, I bet you there isn't a team that's dropped anywhere near as much as we have.
Sure, but we're not going to do. But the problem is, Lubo, even if this manager stayed, right, with this same group of players next year, we're going to get the same results. You're going to win enough games to stay up. You know we are.
I agree.
You know we are. Look how shit we've been. We've won 10 games, right? Next season, we could be this shit again. We will still win 10 games. And in this league, look, Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton, between them, have won 10 games.
10 games out of 90. Well, yeah.
Right.
Well,
so Lubo, you know we're not getting relegated, but that surely the benchmark here isn't, are we ever going to get relegated? The benchmark, like you said, is that how far we've fallen because of this manager's tactics. I feel sorry for fans like Matt in the chat that still can't wrap their head around these tactics. People like that sit there and go, oh, he needs a 6. This is the same manager that's had 4 transfer windows and hasn't bought a number 6. His system doesn't play with a number 6. So if you're going to have a go at, I get it. I get that we all want to have a go at Levy, but I am finding that, I'll be honest, and some of you guys will hate me for saying this, I'm getting a little bit bored with Daniel Levy being blamed for every little thing that goes on at this football club. Daniel Levy is not on the training pitch. Daniel Levy is not making substitutions. Daniel Levy is not cupping his ears to the fans. Daniel Levy is not doing this. Daniel Levy is not doing that. That is not Daniel Levy. I hate Daniel Levy for many, many reasons, guys. That is not on Daniel Levy.
No, it's not. But you know what is, Sav? Let's go back to you. You're employing salespeople. Mm-hmm. They are wrecking deal after deal after deal. If this is impacting on your business, if you do nothing about it, Sav, and you let him carry on, that's down to you.
I agree. I'm not arguing that point, Lubo. I'm not arguing.
Point. He's going out tomorrow. He'll go out tomorrow. Sav, if he goes out tomorrow and we lose, whatever, or it's a complete shit show, and you're looking at it, we're back on stream in the next few days, and you're pointing out Spence's in the middle, Benson Causeway, Van der Ven should be, and it's like we're going through the same thing again. Thursday was the norm. Okay, Thursday was slightly worse than the norm because we had pretty much a full strength team, and we haven't had that for some months. But nothing changes. Nothing changes. We play against Frankfurt. If Frankfurt turn up and we don't, we're out of it by Thursday night. And then everyone's saying it's all over. The season's finished. Levy's done another 40 million potentially by which impacts on transfers in the summer, which impacts on next season.
But
Lubo, and should be out. No other boss.
But Lubo,
you're not listening.
I am listening, but no one. Listen, just hear me out. No other boss would let someone this bad carry on working.
Lubo. Just to negate your point, by the way, like I said before, we're doing well. We don't need Europe.
Oh,
so, like I said before, no. The main event's still speaking though. The main event wants to speak here, yeah. Because I've listened to you for 2 minutes. The point I make, no, I'm not lost it. Because then you're going to talk to me about somebody else that was on your channel on Monday that lost it. Then, yeah. So you're going to talk about me saying I'm lost it. No.
You're agreeing with him, though. You're agreeing with him.
No, I'm not agreeing with him. Bro, no. But the thing is, that's fact.
He's being facetious. Facetious.
You know what I mean?
We're just sharp again. It's like Monday or Wednesday.
Go back to watching Emerson Royale lose again. You know what I mean? It's moving on, yeah? My point is, though, yeah? Right? Okay. It's fine. It's fine. But the fact is, why have we not sacked him then? Because we've got the money to sack him. We've got the money to sack him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We could get a coach in, like I said before. I've found loads of coaches already, just doing research, that we could coach this team better than what is at the moment. And by the way, I don't even know why you're battling with Matt, by the way, because he's boring me. You know what I mean? He's boring me because he don't turn up. You know what I mean, in the chat? You know what I mean? I'm sorry, I'm done with him. Luke turns up and and he talks waffle, but I love him. You know what I mean? He turns up on your show. But the point I'm making is, right, is that, you know, if it was a case, if he's still making money? You know what I mean? And he's not doing it. He's not sacking him. You see what I'm saying? So what makes you any bet that he's going to be here next season? I think he's going to be here next season because there's no reason to sack him. You know what I mean? There's no reason not to sack him. And I don't want that case, but I've realised why. You know what I mean? Why?
I think.
And tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'll tell you where you're
You're
wrong.
getting
Alex.
a little bit wrong, Alex. Just a bit. I'm agreeing with what you're saying here. I'm on your side, yeah. But he will sack him by next season. I think I personally think what Levy has gone and done is a bit of a masterclass here, really. Because he has basically gone and done what I would say, call it a random number, but I would say 70-75% of the fan base has wanted. Add it all up. He can turn around now. Levy can turn around now and say, right, I gave you attacking football.
Can he?
Because a lot of Spurs fans say it's attacking football.
Can he?
I might not agree with it. You might not agree with it. But if we do a list out there's a hell of a lot who still think it's attacking football. So he's going to say there and say, I gave you attacking football. I gave you the manager to give you attacking football. I spent the money on the manager. He's had plenty of money spent on him. I backed him more than any other manager I had. He's had a bad time, but I stuck with the manager like a majority of Spurs fans were saying. Stick with a manager through the process. Stick with him. Show that you mean business. Show that this is your man that you have employed and you are going to go places with him. He's going to say, I've stuck with him as much as I can. Like all you Spurs fans asked us to do. And when I say all, I mean a high majority. And the list can go through. And then at the end, he can say, I'm sorry, I've had to fire the geezer because look where we are. This is all in Levy's hand. And the way
you got to think like Levy. You got to think
that Ange is his little bitch. Ange just played into it with everything he said as well. It couldn't have gone more Levy's way if he wanted to, really.
You just got to think like Levy, innit? You got to think like.
He's either upset people like us that want the manager out for the pure reason how bad the football and the results is. But Levy's also got a lot of people on his side still for the fact that he did hang on to Ange.
This is the thing. Dan's thinking the way that he's thinking at the end of the day. I'm not. Listen, you know my feelings on the manager, but it's just, I've so zoned out. Like I said, I don't want to repeat myself. I've so zoned out. My mind's so clear now. So I'm seeing things that I'm thinking, what's going on? You know what I mean? So I have to look at the other side of things. And this is the thing. Look at it from his point of view. He's thinking, well, I'm still making money. Great. Some of the fans most of the fans have not turned. They've not turned on him. And Postecoglou, in his eyes, the fans still think it's great football, great entertainment. Obviously, I don't think it's entertaining. You know, I'm not entertaining because I would still be going to the stadium otherwise. You know what I mean? But I'm not doing it. So, like, why would he sack him? For me, it's really bad on the owners. It's really bad on Daniel Levy at the moment. For me, when he's making all that money, you should be sacking him and getting somebody in a proper coaching to coach these players. You know what I mean?
Right, Alex.
Bentancur, right? Even though I call him Juventus reject, every single time he goes up to international duty, he's playing well. He's having a very good game. Basuma, every single time he's going to international duty, I'm hearing he's having a good game. He's having a good game.
But Alex,
every single time, Tell had a good game. Alderweireld had a good game. So why are they coming back to Tottenham rubbish?
At the end of all this, Alex, Levy can blatantly sit here and say, I gave a majority of you Spurs fans what you wanted. There you go.
I disagree completely.
Sorry, if you disagree with it completely, were me and you and a lot of others debating, this is not attacking football, no? It's not. Not for us.
Was what?
All this that has it been attacking football?
No, this is
No,
not attacking.
Yeah, but not for me and you. But the majority have been saying it is attacking football.
But Dan, just because some people are thick as shit, doesn't mean.
Okay.
Hang on, hang on, Dan. Just because the majority then are thick as shit and think this is attacking football, doesn't mean that Levy can turn around to everyone and go, "I gave you what you wanted." Because
no, I didn't say you can turn around and say it to everyone. I said he can say it to the majority, and when it's the
But he
majority of people on your side, you win.
But that doesn't make sense, because he can turn around and say whatever he wants. It's not true. He can turn around.
Not
Listen,
to you, it's not to me, it's not. But to other people,
not to anyone. But Dan, not to anyone. A Tottenham an attacking football team. We are the most boring, one-paced football team I've ever seen. This is
still hear
anyone
other
who thinks
say we play attacking football.
But anyone who thinks this is attacking football is stupid. Sorry to be rude, but if at the end of the day anyone turns around and goes, "Oh, but we've got," I see it all the time. "Oh, but at least Ange," like someone earlier in the chat, Brad said, "Oh, the difference is Conte played the ball back to the goalkeeper more than Ange does." It's like, what's that got to do with anything? Conte's team didn't also concede every 5 minutes the way that Ange's team does. Conte's team didn't have a glaring hole through the middle of the pitch.
Let me throw another angle on this. Just say I'm Daniel Levy and I'm having a chat with Joe Lewis at the end of the season. And Joe Lewis says, "Well, Daniel, we're 17th. Tell me, what do you think of this? Let's talk about it in financial terms." Well, you know what? You know what, Joe? By dropping from 5th to 17th, that's cost us. We're going to lose 37.2 million on last year. And by not getting into Europe, that's potentially another 50 or 60. So we're going to lose 100 million. But do you know what? I kept Ange so I could tell all the fans how attacking we are and how I back the manager. And Joe Lewis says, "That's a great excuse for losing nearly 100 million, Daniel. Fucking brilliant. You're a great businessman. God, I wish I'd have thought of a great reason like that to lose 100 million. Do me a favour."
But Lubo, this is why I agree with you and disagree with Alex. This is why I disagree with Alex. When Alex said last, sorry, Alex, I love you, man.
No, go for it.
When Alex is saying it don't matter, he's going to stay. Listen, at the end of the day, as much as people will hate Daniel Levy, like Lubo said, at some point will go, "Hang on, this is having a financial effect on the football team." Look at two things, right? One, like Lubo said, we could drop anywhere between 30 and 37 million pounds in league revenue, in prize money in the Premier League revenue. We're going to lose revenue on the Champions League or Europa League, depending on winning that Europa Cup, right? Then you're going to see players like, whatever I think of him, people like Christian Romero that are going to want to leave this club. If people like Christian Romero leave this club, other fat players out there are going to go, "Well, hang on, your better players are leaving. Why are your better players leaving?" So it does have a massive, massive effect on the club, Alex. I know that you want to keep being sarcastic about the whole Sean coming on and saying that there's no problems and the money and blah, blah. But all of that aside, at the end of the day, Daniel Levy is whatever we think of him, is a bloody good businessman. Whatever we think about him, he is a bloody good businessman that's taken this club from the 21 million in value, whatever it is, to, I don't know, 3.5, 4 billion, whatever, right? That's not a man that's going to turn around, look at the I know it's not done in Excel spreadsheets, but, have a look at the P&L for the year and go, "Oh, we lost 60 million this year. That's okay." He won't. He won't. What he will do, hang on, Alex, hang on. What he will do is what he's always done. He will get a manager that comes in next, somebody that appeases the fans, right? Whether this is for 18 months, 2 years, 5 years, he will get a manager in that appeases the fans, gets the team up the table, not saying winning leagues for anyone as a go. And for that period of time, everything will be okay in the Spurs garden. And that manager, like Poch did, like Harry did, like Conte did, like Yol did, will drag the wool over the eyes of people who can't see what's actually going on and will go, "Oh my God, everything's great again." Then when inevitably that manager's magic and the initial gusto, when that is removed and everything goes back to normal of, "Hang on, we're not kicking on past 4th, 5th, we'll be back to where we are now." But Ange takes the biscuit. So all these idiots out there, I'll call them idiots, all these idiots out there that go, oh, you want to sack this manager like the 10 before him. Well, the 10 before him didn't have us in 14th place, 10 points off the top half. That's the difference. Levy's done. Levy's. Hang on, Alex. Let me finish. Right. Levy's done. I don't care what any of you say. Levy's done nothing different this time to what he normally does. The difference is the manager is worse. This money that he's been given, the level of players like a Solanke, like a Maddison, like a Van der Ven, right, like a Basuma. This is the level of player we always buy. The difference is Poch, Redknapp, will coach them, make them better, blend them into a team. Right now, you've got a manager that can't do that. So it's making every player, let me finish my vent, I'm in it, right? Every player looks worse. Suddenly, Basuma's shit. Suddenly, Bentancur's shit. Suddenly, Adogi's shit. Suddenly, Solanke looks shit. Suddenly, Kulu looks awful. Suddenly, Son does. It is the manager. Nothing has changed with how Levy runs this football club. We need to stop this notion that suddenly it's changed in the last 18 months. This is what he does. But the coach can't coach. He can't coach. We're not set up. We're not drilled. We're not hard to beat. Then you get people going, oh, but we've lost Son and Kane in the last 2 years. Brighton don't have a Son and Kane. Brentford have never had a Son and Kane. Villa don't have a Son and Kane. Bournemouth don't have a Son and Kane. Newcastle don't have a Son and Kane. They're all above us. Chelsea right now don't have a Son, don't have a Kane. They're all above us because they've got coaches that coach. So this nonsense has to stop.
And then look where we are. Look where we are.
Thank you.
Fair enough. And I agree with everything you've said. But look where we are. And we have still probably got the most supported manager that we've had in a very long time since Poch.
That's the thing. That's the point.
The situation we are in, you have still got easy, I'll say 40% of that fan base backing him up.
That's the point.
Now, when it comes to Levy, he's usually had 10 times more pressure for 10 times less to sack a manager. He's done what he has done what the majority of the fans have asked him to do, and that is stick by your manager. Even when things are going crap, stick by him. Spend the money on him. Show that he's part of the business. Levy has done everything that the majority of the fan base have asked him to do. Yeah, a lot of us can see through that, but a lot of them can't. I still stand by what I said the minute he turned up to football. He's had the easiest job a football manager has ever had since football started. Kick the ball forward. There's 80-90% of the fan base on your fan side. Job done.
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed.
And how many channels out there, even down to the pundits even, still say that Spurs are an exciting team to watch because we're one of the most attacking teams of football to watch. The majority. Now, we don't. I don't. But a majority actually do say that this is still attacking football.
I agree.
This is what they've wanted. They've wanted him to stick by a manager. He stuck by his manager. They wanted him to spend money on his manager. He spent money on his manager. It's even got to the point where people are saying, like, Levy, we want you back of what you used to do. Go sack this manager. He's crap. But he's turned around and said, no, I'm sticking by my manager. Like you Spurs fans asked me to do. At the end of all of this, it's pretty much on his side because he has pretty much given the high majority of the Spurs fans what they wanted.
And also the fact that...
And this is why we are now in 14th, 15th place, because I know a lot of the fans are out there. There's some because they love Ange, and it's some because of the system, and it's some because of this. There's reasons to it. But there's still plenty out there, a high majority out there, who will still say, Levy, keep him till next season.
And what's more important,
I would rather lose 6-3 than win 1-0.
Dan, what's more important, how the team are performing or what the fans think?
I don't know. What's more important to Levy?
Both. But
it's both, isn't it, at the moment?
Both.
If I'm running a business, it's how my employees are working, not what the outside people think.
So why haven't we sacked him?
It's
because the thing is, though, he's had more opportunity to do it this time round with the money we've got to sack him, right? Pay him off, put him on gardening leave, right? and then get another coach in. He could even put Mason in charge. I don't even want the situation, no, but he could do that. He could
I do
trump
right
that
now.
card.
4 words.
put
4
that trump
words, Alex. 4 words. It is gross neglect. Simple, 100%. As a shareholder talking, with owners who are talking to people to the payment. If I'm purely talking from a shareholder's point of view, so let's talk Levy language. Let's talk Levynomics.
Mm-hmm.
What he's going to get for the club, the value of the club is dropping.
Mm-hmm.
The value of the club is dropping.
So if
the value is dropping, he should be still sacking him.
Why
Then
hasn't he done?
He should be sacking him, Alex.
He should be sacking him.
Because
why not? My point then.
Because why has I just told you it's gross neglect. Levy is totally inefficient.
So this is not a good businessman then.
He's not a good businessman. He's not a good businessman then.
No, he's not.
Repeat what you're saying.
No, he's not, Alex. No, he's not. This whole thing about him being a great businessman. Let me tell you something.
Hang on. One of you.
Businessman there, and you agreed with what Savva said. Make your mind up, Ian.
Hang on, one of you. Hang on, guys. Just quickly, the problem I've got is Lubo's coming across normal sound. Dan, your sound is really low. So when you're talking over each other, I can't hear either of you. Just so you know.
Because I'm on an iPad. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Listen, no worries. I'm here for the rows. I'm here for the debates, but just can't hear.
Right. So Ian,
I'm here for it. Anyone who roasts Lubo, I'm here for it.
Ian, you're saying he's not a good businessman. Savva just blatantly sat here and said Levy is one of the best businessmen on the planet, basically. And you just sat here and agreed with him.
No, I didn't say I didn't agree with him. I didn't say I agree. I never said a word. Whoa.
You nodded your head.
Dan. Did I say that? Dan, this is a businessman that brought the ground in 600 million overspend and 9 months late. Great businessman. This is a guy that screwed up the Grealish deal that ended up going for 100 million. He lost a lot of money there. About that now. Hang on. We're talking about as a businessman. This is the businessman who, by not paying £8 million extra for Bruno Fernandes, cost the club at least 40 million by not getting into the Champions League and Man United taking our place. So it can go on and on and on and on. This is not a great businessman. What he may make in outside activities. Hang on, Dan, I haven't finished yet. What he may make in outside footballing activities, he has cost us a fortune on football. An absolute fortune.
Right.
Yeah, but you don't go from 21 million to 4 billion if you're not a good businessman. Right. I'm sorry. We can pick out mistakes. No one's saying he's perfect, but he is a good businessman. Surely.
Hang on. The club was
emotion speaking, Lubo. Right. It's emotion speaking.
All right, let's get the figures right.
Ian, calm down.
They paid 22 million for 29%, which works out at 75.8 million valuation of the club. So let's start with 76 million. Okay, great. Very good, terrific. They'll make 12 times if it finishes up at
it just needs to finish.
I don't know, what are we talking about? 3 billion. 3 billion divided by 75 million.
I reckon it's more than 3, but yeah, go on.
Okay, right. Realistically, okay, so they made shed loads of money. If you're a half astute businessman, if you've got half a clue with the money that was poured in from Sky since you took over, right, and he's been lucky. He's had Harry Kane there. He's had all the good members of staff that he's had. He's managed to lose. Sorry, a good boss does not lose top people. You lock them up. You look after them. He's lost Paul Barber, who's done great things at Brighton. He lost Michael Edwards, who did great things at Liverpool. Right? He had Paul Mitchell, that's done great things all over the place. He managed to piss off Harry Kane, who left because Kane had more ambition than the club.
Okay, Ian, let me give you a point.
That's not what we're talking about.
Let me give you a point, Ian. Let me give you a quick point then, yeah? I agree with what you're saying, yeah? Right. So, let's say 10,000 Spurs supporters say, do you know what? I've had enough. I don't want my season ticket next more. Go forth and multiply. I ain't having it. Throw their season ticket on the floor. How long before those 10,000 season tickets are taken up? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour?
It's a good question, Dan. It's a good question.
So here we go. Hang on. Let me keep going. Right. Is the stadium full up? Game after game, without fail?
Currently, yes. Yes.
Right. Are people outside, queuing up outside to spend money at that stadium? Yes, they are. Are they hanging about afterwards for the beers and that? Yes, they are. is he still getting the things in with the events, with the boxing, with this? And we've got the worst manager we've ever seen. And he's still got all the money rolling in. And he's still got the stadiums full up. And he's still got supporters singing there saying, we love Ange when we're losing 5-1 to Liverpool and everything and that. And he really must be a terrible businessman if he can get a team that is not far off fighting relegation only because the 3 teams are crapper, full up game after game after game after game. He's definitely doing something right on the business side. Right, I've got to go and I'll catch up with you later.
At the moment, cheers, Dan.
See you, Dan.
See you later, Pete.
But Lubo, I think the difference here is, I think, listen, we're not talking about mistakes he's made. We know how many mistakes he's made. And I think the difference is any chairman that's going to be at a club for 24, 25 years is going to make a lot of mistakes. I'm not doubting that. I'm not saying he's a great chairman. I'm talking about as a businessman, the model he runs is bloody good. As a football fan, I can't stand it. As a football fan, I don't care if we run like that. But as a businessman, he is. And this is where I think you get 2 sides of the argument. As a football fan, I don't wake up in the morning and think, what Spurs share price, how much revenue we're going to make. When the finances come in, I don't go, oh, that's bloody amazing. As a football fan, I look forward to who are we signing this summer to make Spurs better and who's the manager of Tottenham Hotspur. That's what I'm looking at. Correct. Unfortunately, when he does sell this club, and I know it's not just him, you know, obviously he owns 29%, whatever it is of ENIC. Not getting the ins and outs of that. When he and Lewis and whoever else sell this bloody football club, they are going to walk away and go, because they're going to have gone 21 million, whatever it's 76 million it worked out to, 3 to 4 billion selling it. They're all going to sit there and go
250 million, Sav, up to now.
Right.
They put it on. So 12 times, take 12 times 3 billion, fantastic profit.
Okay.
Fantastic
so they've got
profit.
3 billion, and between however many of them there are, and they're going, here's $1 billion for you, $1 billion for me, $1 billion for, like, at the end of the day, from that point of view, he's going to be able to retire and go, right? As a football chairman, you could say he's done a magnificent job. The fact that we've never gone down. Brilliant. Great. A magnificent job that we've never gone into administration. Brilliant. So hang on. Let me hang on. But the difference is fans like me and you would turn around and go, well, hang on. Who has gone into administration? How many of the big clubs have gone down? So for people like me and you, we don't give a shit about that. But you can't say he's not a good businessman. He's got deals coming out of his arse. He's got bloody patisseries from South Korea. He's got deals with Dulux. He's got deals with Dyson hand dryers. He's got deals with this beer, this food, this.
I couldn't give a shit, Sav. Well, a football fan. This is a football club. This is a football club.
I know, but Lube, then you're not listening to me. But this is my point. On the football side, it's shit and I hate it. But as a businessman, he is bloody good. As a businessman, he's sitting there right now going, yep, let's sign that contract that gets more money in from boxing, more money in from concerts, more money. As a football fan, I don't give a shit. But is he a good businessman? He is.
Sav, he made the biggest profit for the club the year we reached the Champions League final.
Yep.
So football success and financial success correlated in 2019. We might not have won the final. We reached the final.
Sure.
And he made more profit. The club made more profit that year than at any time in their history.
So here's the difference.
If you're a football chairman if you're a chairman and you're looking at your best ever years, you think to yourself, why did that happen? You know what?
Okay.
Yeah. Right? Yes, you're with me. You're with me, aren't you, on this?
I am, and I aren't. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, if you get to Champions League finals every year and you're that good, you're going to make X amount of profit, which means
not necessarily the Champions League final. You might make the quarters, you might make the semis, but you're there. Sure. Like the top clubs, they're in that top 4 or 5. They're in the Champions League year after year. They're making big money.
Sure, but what does he? This is the difference, Lubo. When we got there, we didn't get there because he'd actually invested the big money to get there. No, we had a very good. Let's call it for what it is. We had
absolutely agree with you.
We had a good cup run under Poch. Let's call it what it was, because off the pitch it was all.
It was the manager. Let's get that in there. It was the manager.
Of course it was. It is Mark, right? It was the manager, right? The problem is, Lubo, and I agree with you, but to sustain that, to sustain how Man United did for decades in the Champions League, how Liverpool have, how Arsenal have, to sustain that, Daniel Levy has to pump money in, big money. So when we're talking about better performances in the league and the Champions League, give him X amount more revenue, it does at the end over time. But what he would have to pump in at the beginning would be huge, and he's not prepared to do it. So for him, he's looking, in my opinion, my humble opinion, he's looking at the deals with the patisserie companies, the NFL, the boxing, the concerts. He's looking and going, well, hang on, I'm still making revenue without having to plow hundreds and hundreds of millions in to buy better footballers and pay better wages. And for me, I think that's what you've got to look at, the risk versus the reward. Yeah. He's not willing to put the risk in.
He's not to throw the dice. Into
Alex, look what Villa are doing. Hang on, Lubo, just to finish my point off. Look what Villa are doing. Right, Villa are trying their damnedest, aren't they, to get in and amongst the big boys. They're paying big salaries. They're bringing in players now of a higher caliber. They don't have the revenue coming in that a club like Tottenham does. They don't have the big stadium. They don't charge £90, £80 a ticket, whatever it is. And it's either going to be, wow, Villa, juice worth the squeeze, or in a few years, everyone's going to go, well, that absolutely failed. And all these big players will be sold. The Watkins will be sold for 100 million. The Morgan Rogerses will be sold for 100 million. And fair play to Villa's owners. Villa's owners have gone, let's take that risk. And I love that. I'm all for it. Levy is not that guy.
Even Newcastle taking that risk. Even Newcastle's taking that risk.
But it's not a risk for Newcastle, Alex, because Newcastle
they got unlimited.
Newcastle's owners have got unlimited money. It's not a risk for Newcastle.
But they've taken a risk with the whole thing with FFP though, because they can't do a lot with FFP now, haven't they? You know what I mean? But they've taken.
Right. They've had to sell.
They've had to sell a few players, and they've put their money towards. They've put their bets on Eddie Howe, bringing in Paul Mitchell as well at the same time. And then you're seeing what you're seeing at the moment. You see what I'm saying? And seeing that continuity at the moment as well, believing in his coaching staff as well, because what Tottenham don't do is bring in coaching staff, bring in the coach's coaching staff, which is a great example of what's going on with Nuno, who wasn't able to bring his coaching staff at Tottenham, and you saw the result afterwards. You know what I mean? And seeing what he's doing right now with his coaching staff that he normally has.
Now the thing is with Tottenham, Villa, the difference between Tottenham, Villa, Newcastle, teams like that, is Newcastle and Villa, just take them two teams. That's all they got is the football. You don't see their stadium. With now and again, you might see it once every couple of years. You know, you do not see the events going on at their stadiums like we have. Football.
They're going on, Mark. They're going on. The Rugby League had a final at St James's Park.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
They have Sam Fender there every year, but nothing like this.
Yeah, but it's not once a week, is it? Year, is it? It's not. I think what Mark's saying is their stadiums haven't been built.
This is what I was just coming to.
Mark, they're football club.
This is what I was just coming to, right? Our chairman now, the football side of the business isn't really that important anymore.
No.
Because if we don't get top four now, right, yes, I'm not denying Ian before you jump in that he's going to lose money for not qualifying for the Champions League. But it's not the be-all and end-all of it like it was when we was at the old White Hart Lane.
Thank you for making my point, Mark, by the way.
You got Beyonce, you got... Who's there? Rolling Stones, people I've never heard of. You've got the NFL, the boxing.
Thank you for making my point, Mark. Thank you for making my point.
There's
that I made earlier. Thank you. Thank you for making my point. Thank you.
That's all right, Alex. no,
You just verified everything I just said earlier. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Don't get used to it, mind. Do not get used to it, mind,
Don't get
Alex.
used to it, Mark. Don't get used to it, Mark.
But we'll get when the figures go into Company's House, we will get a breakdown of the split between football and non-football activities.
Yeah.
The previous year, out of 549 million, Alex, you'll be interested to know that only 70 million went towards non-footballing activities, which is about 13%. So it's gone up to 17, 18%, maybe 20%. It's still a very low percentage against football. Now, what Levy has done, and where he has pulled the wool over most fans' eyes, is that he has spent just enough to keep Tottenham competitive, to keep the fans coming in, without taking any sort of risk to jump in to try and push Tottenham into that top echelon. He got very lucky with Poch because he had Paul Mitchell buying some very good. He made some very good purchases at very good prices before the transfer window exploded. And now you've got to spend 40 million to get an Archie Gray who's played 37 games for Leeds in the Premiership. So I'm well aware, even if I mention him, that's what players are costing these days. 40 million 10, 12 years ago. I mean, I think Aguero? Was it Aguero went to City for 40 million?
Something like that. Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, what sort of 14 years ago, 15 years ago. It's completely changed now. So Levy's very clever. Gets them to a point where we're 5th, we're 7th, we're 6th, we're 4th. We're there or thereabouts, but we never challenge properly and on a consistent basis because they never spend the money. They have
35 million. 35 million, Sergio Aguero.
I said this in the group this morning. Right, there is no reason, because basically the stadium we got now, it's a license to print money. It's a license to print money, that stadium. Right, and there is no reason whatsoever with the infrastructure we got, because don't forget we got the alleged best stadium, alleged best training ground. All the infrastructure is there. There is no reason whatsoever that we cannot be competitive and winning things. With the financial might that the club brings in as well, there is no reason whatsoever. Will we? I very much doubt it. To be honest, I can't see it because of the chairman. Because of the chairman.
Mark, just sorry to interrupt you, but I don't think we're a winning team anyway.
Well, we could be though, Alex.
Yeah, but we're not a winning team. We never will be a winning team in my eyes.
We could be
because we're so worried about being sustainable, right? And we don't roll the dice. We're never going to do it. Because for me, what Tottenham should be right now is what Brighton and Brighton and Brentford are doing at the moment, right? We don't keep managers, cool, right? Just have a director of football, right? Have a director of football, right? Like a Prodigy or whatever you want to do, right? And then you just have coaches, right? And then they have their coaching team or whatever they have. Right, and then after maybe a certain time, if they're doing well and they want to move on, they move on, and then we get another coach in. You know what I mean? But the ultimate should be the director of football. This is what Daniel Levy's, I think, the ultimate goal has been, because I think over the years he's just wanted that model. And he's been trying to do it for a very, very long time now, but he's never ever been successful. I think this is just the way that we are going. I think this is the way he wants to be, and I think this is where we should be in that sense. But we only found it in certain things, which I'm not going to repeat. You know who the managers that have been successful have been, in our eyes. You know what I mean? That you saw the structure and it was working, and then it undone a little bit, and then unfortunately fell apart. But I think that's ultimate what we should be doing, really. And this is where the excuses are really thin with the ownership, is that, like I said before, and again, I do apologize that I'm repeating myself again. These small teams have got small resources and they're finding managers, unknown managers, and they're becoming the managers that we want. Like your Ariolas, your Pochettinos back in the day at Southampton, the Thomas Franks, the Marco Silvas, Eddie Howe to an extent as well. You know what I mean? So, I just think that's where the excuse.
Alex, I've said this all along. And look, if we kind of use this to segue into the protest thing, I've said this all along. When people ask me about the protests, I've always said maximum respect to anyone that's doing it. I just don't see the point. And here's why, Alex. The clubs you've just mentioned there. So you're looking at Brighton. Let's use Brighton as an example, right? Brighton are a football club. The owners and the people in charge, the directors at Brighton, all the people they've employed are football people. Yeah. They want what's best for Brighton. Now, are Brighton ever going to go and be Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, United and win all these titles? Maybe not. But if you look at Brighton now and look at Brighton 20 years ago, it is night and day. And Brighton now just have this conveyor belt of brilliant talent coming through. All I've heard, Alex, for the last 10 years with Brighton is, oh, soon this model will collapse, though. They lose too many good players. Soon it will collapse because they can't keep bringing through players. What do, Alex? They keep bringing through these good players with their scouting, right?
And they can only get better, Sav. They can only get better.
I agree, but the point is they find Belieber. They find Ayari. They got some kid I saw play the other day called Gomez. I don't know where they signed from Inter Miami. They find these players. And because they've got a model, because they've got a philosophy, because they bring in coaches, you see what they do. They bring in these young kids most of the time, right? Some of them are blooded into the first team. Some of them are sent out on loan to their affiliate partners. But what they do is at the end of the year, when they inevitably lose a top talent, this year it could be just spitballing. It could be a Matoma. Inevitably, they go, right, well, Matoma was our main man, Adingra. You've been on the periphery for the last year or two. You're now our main man because you've done this. And Brighton do this really, really well. Tottenham should be doing that plus the next level.
Which is
right?
what my point is.
Tottenham should be doing that plus the next level.
Whenever we get... No,
sorry, really quickly. But the problem is, for that to happen, you've got to have people in charge that purely 100% care about football. This is why when we talk about the protests and that, everyone is talking as though Levy gives a shit solely about football. No, Levy does not. Lubo said it just now. The percentage a few years ago of revenue from outside football was there. This year, there. The year after, it's going to be there. Before you know it, Lubo, that number's going to be 50-50, 60-40. Before you know it.
They can only go so far because they can only they're at their maximum now for the amount of events that Haringey Council will allow them to have, which is 30.
They've just doubled that, mind. Let's get that in there. They doubled that as well.
Yeah.
But they'll appeal for more. Right? They'll get bigger deals with more revenue, the more popular it becomes. My point is this. You've got a chairman that everyone's so angry at, and I let go of my anger. I don't like Daniel Levy. Alex, you've worked with me for years. Mark, you've known me for years. Lubo, maybe a year now. Everyone knows I've been Levy out since October 2017, but I let my anger go with Levy when I realised he's built what he's built on purpose. He's built it to be this way. We didn't stumble across this, right? We didn't stumble across this money-making machine of a stadium. They built this in mind. Daniel Levy is a good businessman. When he was putting the plans together for this stadium, do any of us believe that he said, football, football, football? No. This man would have been in meetings with whoever going, you know those jazzy PowerPoint video presentations. It would have been boxing, NFL, concerts, this, that, the other. And he would have had all these pie charts and these graphs about how at the moment 100% of the revenue is football. Over the years, it's going to go boom, 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 boom. Like, so when we're protesting to get Daniel Levy out, one, he will leave. I've said this all along. He will leave when he wants to leave. They have a plan. I truly believe in my mind, I could be wrong, like I was about 143 years versus 142 years and 7 months. But in my mind, I think they've got a date in mind when they sell. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think they've got a figure in mind for when they sell. Mm-hmm. And the other option is if he doesn't sell, it's not Levy. If the club don't sell, the other option is change. What part of everybody knowing Daniel Levy for 25 years, what part of everyone makes people think that Levy's going to go, for the masses aren't happy? I tell you what, everything we've been working towards, I'm going to scrap, and I'm now going to start paying 300 grand a week for players. I'm now going to start buying the best players out there. It just doesn't make sense to me.
The statement on Monday just summed it all up, really. The statement on Monday summed it all up, what he said.
Yeah.
He told us, Alex.
He told us.
Yeah.
And Danny says it from when he started, when he came in. He's not here for the Ian are not here for the football. They've made it clear.
Do you know what, Alex? People are wising up to the fact that he is taking the piss out of the fan base.
Yeah,
he's abusing brand loyalty.
Mm-hmm. Now, what I don't like,
are enough people wise to it?
I hope so. But what I truly don't like I can remember us winning cups regularly when I was growing up. Regularly, 3 FA Cups in a decade, a UEFA Cup, a couple of finals as well that we didn't get through. But but ever since he's come in, it's just money now. Money. You look at the people that go to watch Tottenham now these days, right? Now, I've been a few times, not many, but whenever I go, there's not fans there anymore. It's tourists. They might like Tottenham, but it's not like the old White Hart Lane. We could go in there, the whole crowd would be singing. I've sat next to people in the South Stand. They didn't even sing anything. Yeah, exactly. I used to go a lot when he was playing Savva. I went there a lot, probably mid-80s, right through the 90s. I spent about 15 years going regularly to the old ground. And when you had people like Gaza, Ginola, even Hoddle, hang on. If we're all doing, all right, hang on.
We're all doing it, are we?
We're all doing it.
This is when I was happy to pay. I was happy to pay and watch the Ginola. I don't want to pay and watch Brennan Johnson and Odeber, and I don't want to.
This is our football club. This is Tottenham Hotspur. This is Mr. Tottenham. This is.
Hang on. This is Mr. Tottenham. No, it ain't.
It's just the club's just been. Do you know what? For 24 years, I'll ask you this: has there been more of a banter club across other fan bases than Spurs?
It's the most embarrassing football club in the Premier League by none.
What he's done.
Look at Paddy Power making all these jokes of they're funny, right? The piss being taken out of us all the time.
He has used the club to get himself rich and screw the fans at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, I don't care if he gets himself rich, providing he's looking after the football club, because he bought a football club. He's not bought a pharmaceutical company. He hasn't bought into oils or commodities. He's bought a football club.
Yep.
And he's cheated me out of many years of enjoying a football club. So for me, it's personal. This is really personal.
He knows.
I get one life. And I'm 67. And I'm at the age where who knows whether I'll ever see a trophy again.
Ian, can I ask you a question, though?
Thank God I'm not ill. I haven't got health problems. But I don't know when, this guy is killing the club. He's taking the heart and the soul out of the club. Mm-hmm. And as a football fan, I don't give a fuck about their financials that came out last week. I don't give a damn. But he's paying himself more money than any other chairman for running a football club and failing in a football club. I don't know how this is allowed. I don't know how Lewis
tell you, Ian, when he took over Tottenham, what did he tell you?
Yeah, exactly. It's the first thing he said.
Not you, us. What did he tell us when he took over Tottenham Hotspur? Yeah. He's not lied.
No, he hasn't.
No. And Ian, can I ask you a question? And this might be a personal question. It's not against you, yeah? But why do you just put your tickets on the exchange? Because Stelios and Nick are doing it. And I've completely done. If you know that personally, right? Because like everybody knows right now, time is precious now these days. Life is too short, right? Why are you wasting your time?
Because it's a passion and a drug, Alex.
Yeah, of course. Of course, I understand
I'm not, I'm not
that. I
having a go at
understand
you.
that.
I'm not having a go. I'm seriously, but Nuba, you know my guilty pleasure, yeah.
No,
The
go
best
on.
of times, but I'm
Alex,
just saying
Alex,
at the moment. I'm just saying at the moment.
when that team, when that team
I've
come out,
had to just say sorry. I can't
I
do
know
it.
you asked me.
Can't
That's
do it.
fine. You asked me a question. When the team come out, it's like you plug an electric socket into me, and the adrenaline's running.
Yeah,
It's every match. However
I
bad we
understand
are,
that.
I love this club,
Mhm.
and I go and I'm looking forward to the game. And you think to yourself, it's like going to Chelsea on Thursday. You think to yourself, well, the odds are that we're going to lose because we've won 1 out of 31. Well, we've won one since Livingston winner in 1990.
Yeah,
But you still go, there's still that hope.
I'm not talking about away games. I'm talking more about home games. That's the thing. The away games, I understand that.
No, it doesn't matter home or away, Alex. It's about for me to be my team.
I understand that. I do understand that, and believe you me, if I lived closer to London, I'd probably be the same as you, Ian. You know, because I've been a Spurs fan all my life. I had no choice. My dad was a Spurs fan. It was I had a choice: Tottenham or the orphanage.
That's right. I'm fully aware. I'm very lucky. I've worked hard. I've earned the money.
Yeah.
And I'm being able to afford to go. A lot of people, unfortunately, can't afford to go. Who are as good as me or better fans than me and love the club as much or more than me. So believe
we
me,
all love the club the same, Ian.
Can I show you this? I want to show you this, right? And again, I know we've all seen it. I just want to show everyone this, and hopefully this is big enough. Apologies for all the adverts around it. Let me blow that up a little bit. 1 second. So hopefully everyone can see this, and I'm going from the word "in the meantime." He said, "In the meantime, I'm not going to be one of those hype." This was 2001, by the way. 2001. He said, "In the meantime, I'm not going to be one of those high-profile chairmen. I'm pretty low-key. I'm not Alan Sugar's direct replacement. Plenty of people have suggested my support for Tottenham lay behind Enix's decision to take a 29.9% stake. It's not true. I've followed the Spurs since I was 8 years old, but I'm not a fanatical fan. The decision was made on business grounds, but obviously it is an advantage that I've been following the club for so long." Right? He then went on to say, "We wanted to buy a club in England and we decided early that it should be in London. With apologies, there are only 3 big clubs in the capital: Arsenal, Tottenham and Chelsea, and Tottenham was available. We want to bring back to White Hart Lane the sense of tradition and occasion that seems to have slipped away. I think the fans will see what we will be a caring owner. I know exactly what it's like to be an ordinary supporter. He said, I realise how infuriating it is when my son can't get a packet of Maltesers at half time because they've run out. I know what it's like to walk down a corridor and the blah, 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 blah." Right? There's nothing in there. Even from that day, guys, there was nothing in there about we're taking over this club. We're going to bring back glory. He's talking about it was available. It was business. Yeah, I'm not fanatical. He was telling us then. He's telling us now, even in these statements that were released on Monday, he's telling us, oh, I know you all hate what I've done, but this is all I can do. I don't know why people think that's going to change.
No, well, put it this way, right? As I said in the WhatsApp group earlier, right? They bought £22 million to buy the club. We are now worth what? 2 and a bit billion, I think.
Oh, a lot more than that, I would say.
We value that? No. I think you times it by your income so many times. Is it 5 times you times it by?
7 times. I think you would get, if Chelsea's gone for 2.5 and we've got the infrastructure, then you're looking at between 3.5 and 4 realistically.
Well, yeah, right. But now, see, right, he's built all the infrastructure. The stadium is basically a license to print money. We all know that, right? All the events, everything they're raking in now, he'd be stupid to sell it now. He would be absolutely stupid to sell it now because all the money that stadium is bringing in, after you've built the castle,
Mark,
you do not sell it when it's bringing in money.
Mark,
Agreed.
they haven't got the money to carry on investing as they need. They have been looking for finance. Rothschild's Bank have been trying to find investors for the last year to find the extra money to build the hotel and also to develop White Webb's Park, which they bought in Enfield, which they bought for the NFL, and they bought for a ladies' training ground.
Yeah.
I can't find the finance at the moment.
Yeah.
Now, sooner or later, they can't take the club on in terms of those investments. Taking it further, they can't take the club on.
We'll put it this way, Ian. Right? For someone, if you said the club's £3.5–4 billion, right, for them to sell it, someone's going to have to come in with what, 5 or 6 before they even think about it.
Mark, every business has an intrinsic value, and you can't pull out all the figures. If someone coming in will say, right, I want full disclosure, right? If you've got the figures, if you've got the books for all the businesses that are involved in ENIC, Tottenham Hotspur Properties, Tottenham Hotspur FC, etc., there will be a figure. The accountants will pore over them. There are specialists that do this. And they'll argue about X amount. There might be 10–20% possibly, but the figures are there. The valuations of players, of the ground, etc. It will have a value. And that, it's like a house. You value a house. Houses there are certain criteria that you value a house on. But Levy will know all this because real estate is his game.
Yeah. It's true though, but for him to actually,
if it's worth £3.5 million, you can't turn around and go out, because people at this level, they're no fools. They will forensically go through the books, and nobody's going to pay £5 billion for an entity that's worth 3.5.
No, I think I've got a feeling what Mark's saying is anyone coming in will need the $3.5 billion plus a couple more billion to invest and work.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
No. What I was saying was the fact that we're raking in like £500 million, £500 million a year now in turnover and revenue, right? For Levy to sell it now after he's built this, the cash printing machine, stadium, all what he's done, all this coming in. If you build a business up from basically nothing, where Tottenham were with White Hart Lane for 22 million, you invest in inverted quotes because you borrowed the money and build all the infrastructure that we got now. And then it's raking in the money. So you're seeing we're seeing the sort of fruits of your labor starting to come in. With all the stuff that's coming in, you're not going to sell it when it's making money.
But hang
you know what I mean? So Mark, someone to buy them out, they're going to have to offer us a stupendous amount.
Mark, if you're taking 3 or 4 million a year and you've got a chance to sell it and come out of it with £1 billion, you're not going to carry on working for another 20 years for 100 million where you're 62 and you're old enough to take £1 billion and then sail into the sunset and enjoy your money before you get old and ill.
The thing is, Ian,
3 or 4 or 5 million a year when you can take £1 billion. Come on.
The thing is, Ian, people with money, they always want more. I'm certainly not in that situation, but like you always find the people that have got money, they want more. They're driven by money. And it's the thing is with Daniel, he's built all this infrastructure now. Best stadium in the world, best this, beers that fill up from the bottom, cashless when you go in there, so they ain't got to mess about with change, so they can serve more people. And when you do all this and it's raking in all this money, you're not going to sell it. You're not going to. As much as I want him to leave, I can't stand the man, what he's done to my football club. Honestly, can't stand the man. But he's not going to sell it. He will sell it when he's ready. Until someone comes in and offers whatever he wants, 5, 6, 7, 8, just insert number £1 billion. He's not selling it. He's not.
Mark,
But the only thing I hope comes out of this protest is we can get him to change, is we can get him to put the football first. Because there's but this is only in my eyes. This is only in my eyes. There is no reason whatsoever that this club should not be successful.
But there's plenty of reason right now as to why he's not going to change. Like Lubo's alluded to, I don't think the money is there that people think is available to just suddenly start going and buying top players and spending big salaries. The problem is just from a real layman's view of this, right? Spurs have spent loads of money under Daniel Levy. Mm-hmm. We've spent loads of money, but the problem is we keep buying mediocre players, yeah? And obviously, in this day and age, no one's spending. If you're buying a player for 50 million, very rarely are you going to ever put down 50 million on the table. You put down 10 million, then another 10 million, then another blah, blah, blah. The problem is we've accumulated so many players that we owe money for over the year. If I'm not wrong, it was something like 444 million left of outstanding on players that we've got to pay.
I think it's about 310 at the moment, 320.
I'm sure it was more than that. But okay, either way. Okay, look, I can look at
because it was 300. They would have paid at least 60 off towards that.
I don't want to get down in that
in the last year, Sav. So it's probably around 300 plus.
Okay, cool. You missed my point. When I do things like this, you miss my point. I don't care about the exact number. The point is we owe hundreds and hundreds of £1 million on players already, as most clubs will. The problem is we've not got the money. Yeah, we've not got an owner. Like when you look at Man City will turn around and go, we need a rebuild, right? Man City's owners won't go, oh, shit, well, where are we getting that money from? They'll go, right, what do you need? Well, we spent 175 million in January. We'll probably whack another 200, 300 million in the summer. They will just write out the checks, right? Obviously, they have to do their PSR and balance all that nonsense, but Spurs don't do that. So when we're asking Daniel Levy to change, when we're asking that suddenly we think we're going to go and get 4 players on 300 grand a week that change this club, that all cost 70 million pounds, which is adding another, 280 million pound in transfer fees over X amount of years, it's not going to happen. This is why, only me, credit to all of you doing it, I look at it and go, what is the outcome everyone wants? What is the outcome everyone wants? Is it to sell it? Is it to change? What does that change look like? Does everyone suddenly think Daniel Levy, how old is Daniel Levy? Anyone?
62.
So we think Daniel Levy's got to 62 years of age as a successful businessman who's now worth, I don't know, what's he worth? Over £1 billion in his own right now?
Well,
right?
We think he's got the club, but he'll get...
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So we think he's got to that.
Yeah.
We think he's got to that stage of his life and he's suddenly going to wake up one day, speak to the board and say, you know what? Sod that. Forget everything we've done. Forget being frugal financially. This is what we're going to do now. Tell you what, Lang or Paratici, whoever's in charge at the time of director of football, go out there. You can buy 5 players at £70 million each. You can pay them all 250, 300 grand. He's not going to do that. He's 62. He's made his money because he isn't that guy. So like, what is the aim then? That's the question. Is it just pointing it out? Is it just raising awareness in the media? What is the hope in the coming months after it? That's my question.
Well, he is killing the football club. There's no question about it. Year by year, he's killing this club. And I think the fans just want to do something. People are fed up doing and saying nothing. There was this big promise about the game changer that the new stadium was going to be. Great. Right, and everybody thought terrific. There's going to be more money coming in that'll be put into the football side, and it hasn't happened. The game changer is that he's now got a venue for everything else that's going to bring in more non-footballing activity revenue. So everyone's obviously, fans are getting pissed off. The team are going down. The level of the players has dropped. And it's easy now. Fans can just look back at a yardstick is Champions League final and the 4 or 5 years that we had with Poch and the 5 or 6 years we've had since. So people can easily compare the level of players we had then and what we've got now and what they're doing with the club and how they just haven't. The problem is
notice you haven't answered my question. The problem I've got is notice you didn't actually answer my question.
It's a difficult answer, Sav, because you want what I would like to see. What I think is more realistic is the same thing that happened with Man United, where the fans protested and protested and protested, and in the end, the Glazers sold 25% to an outside investor, and Jim Ratcliffe is now getting on with the football side.
Okay, so we want to sell a portion of the club.
And I think for me, that is a more realistic goal at the moment than thinking it will sell.
Okay, so if the goal is that we want someone to come in and take a quarter roughly of the club, something like that figure, and he's going to take over football operations, is that what that for me is what listen, I want him out. I want him gone. To me, he's a cancer in this football club. He is the worst thing we could have ever had. And if I ever bump into Alan Sugar, I will tell him, I will say, what the hell did you sell to them for? Surely there must have been other people that loved football. And all this thing about Levy being a fan from 8 years old, a family friend actually told me, someone who's known the Levy family for years, actually told me that when his father and brother, one of his brothers, were going to West Ham as season ticket holders, when he was a kid, he wasn't interested. Just wasn't interested in football. That's not an issue for me. You know, someone running a business doesn't have to, you know, I'm sure Richard Branson wasn't train spotting from the age of 6 years old. But when he bought Virgin Trains, he brought an expert in to run it. My big fear is, unfortunately, that even if Stevie brought in the Qataris and they buy 25%, Levy's going to be all over everything still, because he just can't leave things alone. Okay.
So
do you see my point? Do you see my point?
Absolutely see your point, and I am as disillusioned with the future as I've ever been, because they are killing the club. The more years we go without a trophy, the less chance of good players ambitious players, should I say, wanting to come and join our club, because they're looking at it thinking, I don't need the money, I want trophies and medals.
But what if you win the Europa League? Doesn't that throw everyone's argument out of the water?
Yes, it would do if we win the Europa League. But do you think we'll win the Europa League? Well, listen, time will tell. Time will tell.
You know my opinion.
We can't even beat Tamworth in 90 minutes.
I know.
Now, for me, these protests, right? Now, I'm sick to death of Daniel Levy. Can I physically remove him on my own? No. Right? Can us fans physically remove him on our own? No. I just want the man, because I've accepted the fact, as much as I don't like him, as much as I want him out, look, I have accepted that he's not going nowhere. If we were going to get him out, it was before we built the stadium.
Sam, Mark, will you hold that comment from Daniela until Mark's finished, please? I want to come back.
That's why I was leaving it there. Go on, Mark.
No, right. Right, and so I've accepted the fact that he's probably going nowhere. Not with the financial monster that he's built now with the stadium, getting the NFL involved, getting everything that's going on in the stadium. He's probably not going nowhere. I just want him to change and put the football first, that he's never done since he's been here. Like, I know I keep going on about the man, but when Pochettino was here and we were two or three players short of winning the bloody league, and we were that close to winning the damn football league 2 years running. 2 years running. We could have won that league if he'd have stuck his hand in his pocket. And he didn't do it. And that, to me, when that happened, that told me he's not interested in football. He just wants the Champions League money. And that's all he's interested in. That's all he's ever been interested in, money. He just keeps us relevant to a point. He just keeps us knocking around the top. You know, all right, this crap manager's got us knocking around the bottom, but like, he just keeps us in that sort of 6th to 4th. In that, you know, under Poch we did go to 2nd, but that was in spite of Levy, not because of him. You know, I've always said if we ever win anything that we haven't for a darn long time, it won't be because of Levy. It will be in spite of him.
That's right. That's right.
And that's always the case. This is why I'm sick to death of the man. As much as I want him out, do I think he's going nowhere? No, I don't. No, because he will sell when he's ready. Because he's got the financial monster now. And he doesn't care what we think. Oh, I'm going. I got to leave tonight to get there for tomorrow.
Listen, I agree with it. I'll let you come on this comment in a second, Lubo. Listen, Mark, I agree with you. But for me, this is why I stopped paying to watch the team. And I know people can all protest. I always get told, oh, you don't protest. Well, I also don't give them my money. So there's all different ways of doing this. But at the end of the day, I make you right, Mark. At the end of the day, as I've always said, he built this. They built this. Not just Levy. They built this by design. Sometimes in life you stumble across things, right?
Yeah.
We didn't stumble across this stadium, right? We literally had to buy out all the businesses and the houses around the ground to put the monster in there. It's like Blue Water. If anyone knows about Blue Water Shopping Centre in the middle of Kent, near where I am, right? Nothing there. Then all of a sudden, this great big behemoth shopping centre turns up there. People complaining about, the roads are busier and this and that. And you're like, well, yeah, well, you knew it was going in. So look, Lubo, we're going to end the show in 7 minutes, bang on 1 p.m. because I need to get a haircut, walk the dogs, got things to do. By the way, before I let Lubo come in on this, it is Everton 0, Arsenal 0 after 22.5 minutes. It's been a good end-to-end game, actually.
I was on.
Yeah, Arsenal, Everton, and Arsenal. They've rested a few. They've rested a few for Madrid midweek. But Lubo, Daniela.
Correct. I'm on a WhatsApp group. There are 5 of us on the WhatsApp group for 4 of my closest friends. 2 of them are Spurs, 2 of them are West Ham. One of the West Ham fan who flew across from Florida to see the final, the Conference League final and the semi-final, and I think he might have come across for the quarter-final. He has not stopped bantering since West Ham beat, was it Fiorentina the other year?
Yeah.
We have had grief from him. I mean, it's the first trophy they won since 1980, but that doesn't matter. He has given us grief.
Do you know, Ian? Do you know, Ian? That's the first cup final. Hang on, just 1 minute. That's the first cup final I can remember watching. 1980. Trevor Brooking, diving header.
That's right. He told his sons when they were born to make sure that they were West Ham fans, that they won the Premier or the Division 1 for the previous 5 years. So I was actually pleased for his kids, having been fed that rubbish and supported West Ham for 30 odd years, that they actually won a trophy. It's all about trophies, Daniel. It's not about. We're fans. These are football clubs. Our football club has been going, I think, 142 years, 143 years now. And I'm sure West Ham have been going a similar amount of time. It's just about the trophies, how rich they get. They will sell the club. New owners will come in. The new owners will obviously have money now because it's stratospheric now, the money that's needed to buy these big clubs. But as a fan, I don't care if the club spend 5 million or 100 million. For me, it's all about spending the money on the right players and making the club competitive. I want Spurs to be in the game. For me, there's no guarantees of trophies. I wouldn't be that entitled or that arrogant. Mm-hmm. But I just want my team to be in the game. I've grown up through this guy. When he was manager, Bill Nicholson, I've seen great players through the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, even some super players in the 90s. And since ENIC took over with their profit only policy, our club has been carried by various individuals that have kept Levy out of trouble up to now. But now the whole thing's coming in. And people can now see that as a football club, we're now heading downhill big time. We're becoming more and more irrelevant because we're 17 years now without a trophy. It's a long time. And, the other big 5 are winning pots galore, aren't they? They're winning trophies galore. while we've had Enoch here. And we are, you know, we're not even, there is a big five. That's it. That's it. And United will come good. Amorim will have United back up within a couple of years. They will be back up there within that top five.
Yeah.
And
well, look,
so for me, forget about being richer. It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
As I'm sure you were when you beat Fiorentina the other year to win the Conference League final.
Look, look, let me say this, and I'm going to end the show. I think that I get it. We're in 2025. Clubs need to be sustainable. I'm not naive enough to think they don't. But as a football fan, I don't wake up and check finances. As a football fan, I don't wake up. Listen, and Daniela, I know I'm not having a pop at you. I'm sure you agree with this. When, as Lubo pointed out, that night when you played Fiorentina, I don't know where this game was, but that night where you played Fiorentina, at no point did that night when all of you West Ham fans were getting drunk or celebrating however you celebrate, at no point were any of the conversations that night about how much money your chairman's pumped in, how much revenue the company's made, what's your profit and loss for the year. It was about winning trophies. And the problem is, it's all well and good saying about, look how rich he's made the club, but he's charging everybody an absolute bomb for no success. So listen, I'm going to leave it there. What I will say is this: thank you very much to Anthony. Always comes in with a super sticker. Listen, really do appreciate you, my man. Thank you very much. It's very generous of you, and very generous of Video Complete Sofiane as well, who said Juventus have sacked their manager for finishing 5th. Why can't we sack our manager for finishing 15th? It's the difference between big clubs. Juventus sacked Thiago Motta. And yes, he had drawn a lot of games, but if I'm not wrong, I think he'd lost 3 games of football all season in the league. If I'm not wrong, it was something like 3 or 4 games all season they'd lost. Tottenham have lost 16 games of football, and you're still, it is what it is.
Even Man United sacked Ten Hag, and he won them 2 pots.
Of course,
you know,
club.
Yeah, there we go.
Bigger club.
You know,
Look,
I mean, if a manager wins a cup for us, he'll probably get a statue.
Oh,
it's been that long.
Big up to Rob Frank, who's gifted a Football Heritage TV membership. I don't know who's got that. Let me have a look. Let me see if I can find out. That went to Leo Starman Recordings. Big up to you. I'm sure he'll say thank you to Rob in the meantime. Look, guys, I'll be back tomorrow for a watch-along for Tottenham v Southampton. That will be from 12:30 p.m. Good luck.
Will the links be out, Sav? Is there going to be a links in the groups? Because we can come on from the pub.
Yeah, I'll stick the link in the group like before when Lubo came on. I couldn't hear a bloody word he was saying. It was so loud. We'll stick the link on, and then tomorrow night there is a Spurs review, although most of them are going to be up at the ground. Look, tomorrow, just quickly, literally, without a big talk about it, give me a score. Lubo tomorrow, Tottenham, Southampton.
3-1 Spurs.
Yeah.
Mark?
3-0 Spurs.
Yeah, I think we'll win 4-0, and you know what's going to come after we batter this awful Southampton team.
We're back.
If he loses this game tomorrow, I don't want any talk of Frankfurt or Europe. If he loses that game, that has got to be an immediate sacking. I'm talking Phil Brown style on the pitch. Levy, walk out to him, show him a red card, get rid of him. Guys, thoroughly enjoyed this morning. Thanks to everyone. Really appreciate you all. Thank you to the 2. Thank you for Danny, Mr. Box Office, Barry, Nick, whatever his bloody name is, Lubo, the Sheriff. Big up to everyone. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the subs. Thank you for helping me get over 17K. And apologies for me not understanding the difference between 142 years and 7 months and 143 years. I do apologize. I'll go back to night school for maths. Take care, everyone. See you later. And as always, Levy out, Mun out, Ange out,
Enoch out,
Lang out, Enoch out. But come on, you Spurs.